So here we are with exercise 5 in chapter 2. The goal here is to implement the transpose operation without using numpy.transpose or this built-in method on a numpy array.t. So remember, the transpose operation will transform a row vector into a column vector and a column vector into a row vector. So it basically just swaps the orientations. Now, this is another case where in practice, you would not want to actually literally transpose a vector using a for loop and vector initializations. It's ridiculous. In practice, of course, you just use numpy.transpose. But for going through this book for your educational purposes, writing a for loop is great because it really helps you really understand what the transpose operation does. It also gives you more experience working with NumPy objects, NumPy arrays, and it will help you understand the concept of orientations in the NumPy arrays versus NumPy arrays that don't have any intrinsic orientation. So here is a row vector. Now, how do we know that this is a row vector? First of all, if you're fairly new to Python, this might look really weird that you have 3 brackets, so parenthesis and then 2 square brackets. Like, why do we need all those? That's crazy. So we need the parentheses because this refers to the function array. So that creates a NumPy array. We need the outermost square brackets to group everything together into the first input. And then we need another set of brackets to indicate rows. So this tells Python that we have one row that contains 3 elements. And by contrast, if I would do something like this is actually, now it looks even weirder, but again, when you get more familiarity with Python, this will start looking less weird. But essentially what I'm doing here is creating this inside its own row. This is its own row, and this is its own row. So this here is actually a column vector because it has 3 rows and only 1 column. Okay, so let me get rid of this. And yeah, this is correct now. Okay, so now I'm initializing a column vector, and this also has to be initialized to be endowed with dimensions. So we do not want something like this. This would create 3 elements, which could be fine for many applications, but for this particular application, we want to initialize a column vector. So we need a NumPy array that has an orientation. So that's why we need this extra code. We provide this tuple that specifies the orientation. So this is a column vector just of zeros. And then here, so direct implementation of the formula using a for loop. Okay, so we are specifying that the vector v transpose is, so in the 0th column and each ith row is going to be this vector v, and you can see the orientations are swapped here. So this is column 0, or the first column, the first row and these different columns, and this is the different rows and the first column. Okay, and then we print out both of these vectors. So we see the original vector v is a row, and then vt is a column. Okay, a couple things, I'm going to talk about this in a moment. I just want to show you that if we would get rid of this row orientation here, then let's see what happens. What happens is we get an error, and the error message basically says, this vector doesn't have that many elements in the shape. So we can see what is v.shape, and that is just the number 3. It is 3 elements, but it doesn't have an orientation. It's not a row vector. It's not a column vector. It's just a container of 3 numbers with no intrinsic orientation. Now, okay, you might think, well, let's just change that to 0. That does kind of work here, but then we get into errors here and so on. So yeah, best just to leave it like this. Okay, so now, all right, I need to reset the row vector there. So the last thing I want to mention in this video, which is just about this comment here, and it's just about the data type. So technically, these two variables have different data types. These are integers and these are floating point numbers. You can see there's the decimal point here. Whether it's ints or floats, sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it does matter. You just have to be mindful of it. And here in this comment, I'm just explaining this a little bit more. and suggesting a few different ways of matching the data type, either by making these floats or by making these ints.